One of the most commonly held desires among authors is the desire to go full-time. And I want to talk a little bit today about when you should do that. My name is Seth. I'm a full-time fantasy author. I've written 26 books. I've published most of them. And I make these videos because there are a lot of authors out there who feel a little bit lost, and I don't want you to be one of them. This is actually a question that I get a lot, and I understand why. If you're an author, you're writing books, then the desire to go full-time has to be huge. After all, if you're enjoying what you're doing, why wouldn't you want to do more of it? But then that begs the question, when is it the proper time to quit everything else and just write? As we discuss this question, I am going to give you some advice that is probably going to be controversial. Don't follow your passion. If you love writing and you really want to be an author and you have been doing it for a little while and you think, you know what, I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to do it. My advice to you as a full-time author is don't. As we go through this video, I'm going to be outlining a few things that you absolutely, desperately need to have in place before you make the transition to full-time writer. Now, there is one caveat to that. If you have saved up a lot of money, if you have a bunch of experience as a writer, if you understand the process and you're in community with other writers who can give you good advice, and you know that you have everything you need in order to succeed, by all means do it. But for those of you who are just really passionate about this career path, please don't just jump into it. It's not a matter of just needing courage. Even though that's a popular idea, it doesn't work. Courage, as good as it is, doesn't feed us. Instead, you need money. And getting money requires some specific things. Now, before you get completely angry with me and turn off this video, stick around a little bit and I'm going to share with you a few things that you can put into place, a few benchmarks that if you have them, will practically guarantee your success as an author. But before that, let's talk first about how we get from really passionate about being an author to actually being an author. Like I said, we don't do it by just quitting everything and throwing ourselves into writing with as much vim and vigor as we can muster. Instead, we take very small steps, little tiny itty-bitty baby steps to work our way slowly toward this dream job of being an author. See, the problem with passion is that passion wanes. It's not always high. And you know when it's at its lowest? When you're right in the middle of a manuscript, or you're trudging through the ending, or you're trying to do edits and they're just not working. Pretty much all the time, in fact. I'm in a number of groups, and one of the things that I've noticed is that every single full-time author that I know struggles on a daily basis to write. But wait, you say, I thought you're doing the thing you want to do. I thought you're passionate about your job. Well, yeah, but it's still work. It's still hard. It doesn't get any easier. And the more successful you become as an author, the greater the pressure that's on you to produce a better next book. And so all of that can combine into crushing weight. And if you haven't built up the stamina and fortitude through these small baby steps beforehand, it is going to crush you. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't become an author. You should. Just slowly. Take the small steps. Don't try to skip them and rush ahead for this magical job that's in your imagination. So what are these small steps that you can take? First, build a writing habit. Whether you write every day, every other day, every evening, every morning, whether you write only on the second Tuesday of every month, it doesn't matter. Just build a writing habit. And you want to get to the point where you are keeping your habit more often than you are breaking your habit. Another baby step is to finish a book and actually get it published. I know for a lot of people that doesn't seem like a baby step, but if you're going to be a full-time author, you're going to be publishing a lot of books. Even if you only publish one book a year, you're going to be publishing 10 books over 10 years. And even if you only publish one book every 2 years, you're still publishing 5 books over 10 years. If being an author is going to be a long-term career for you, you're going to be putting out a lot of content. And so one of your first small steps is to publish something. Some people will start, instead of with a full-length novel, they'll start with a novella or some short stories. Whatever it is, write what you're going to be writing and then publish it. Finally, the third small step that you need to take is you need to start immersing yourself in writing community. You need to start engaging with other people who are writers. You need to start absorbing what other writers say about writing, but then go one step further. Start getting involved with authors. I know that nobody likes to be the new person in the room, but it's okay to go hang out at an author's convention and say, I haven't written anything yet. I'm really excited to write something, but I'm here to learn. And as long as you come with that learning attitude, you're going to find that the world opens up to you. People remember being in that position, and they'll be happy to talk to you. They'll be happy to share with you, explaining what they know and giving you all the help that they can. All right, so you've made it this far in the video. What are benchmarks that you can use to know when you finally reach the point where it's a good idea for you to start writing full-time? The question is, will people buy what you're trying to sell? And that is probably the most important question in this whole discussion. If you want to go full-time, if you want to be an author, then that means that you want to sell your books to other people. In order for that to work, they have to want to buy them. This is one of those things that just really isn't discussed enough when we talk about being an author. If you want to sell a book, somebody has to want to buy it. But that's where taking baby steps is a really good idea. It can help us test the market. It can help us understand what people actually want to buy. A good rule of thumb is that you should only ever pursue an opportunity in your career if the thing that you are offering has a market, if other people want to buy it. And so as you're looking at your writing, you should be testing to find out, do other people want to buy it? And there are a couple of ways to do that. The first is to demonstrate that yes, people want to buy it by publishing something. Again, self-publishing is a great option. You can go enter short story contests. You can enter anthologies. There's all sorts of different ways to test if your writing is good enough for other people to buy. If you're so inclined, you can use websites like Royal Road or Wattpad, and you can see how people feel about your writing. And then the second benchmark that I would try to hit is that you can maintain your pace. Earlier in this video, we talked about how important it is that you have a writing habit. The reason it's so important is because you need to be able to estimate how much writing you can actually do in a given period of time. And then you need to be able to determine whether, if people are buying what you're selling, will that be enough to support you? I hope this wasn't too overwhelming. A lot of information in this video, and it can be really confusing to know how to answer some of these questions. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate. Leave them in the comments and I will answer them for you.